Welcome to America, where we work to live and live to work, where we spend hundreds of thousands on a home that we barely get to step foot in.
Rick Ross, every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling, every day.
Because the hours we work to pay for it keeps us away from it. Where we buy a car just to drive it to a job that barely pays enough to keep the gas tank full. Where our healthcare system will bankrupt you faster than the illness can kill you. Where getting sick is the business motto and the cure is priced like a luxury. Welcome to America, where the food is fake, the water's tainted, and the air we breathe is up for sale. Where the richest 1% own more than the bottom half combined, and they still tell us to work harder. Where we chase the American dream only to find out it was designed to stay out of reach. And every time we get close to the finish line, they just inch it a little further back. Where school doesn't teach you how to live, just how to obey, comply, and clock in. Where education comes with a lifetime of debt and the diploma is nothing more than a receipt for money that you ain't never gonna see again. Welcome to America, where we pay taxes to keep the lights on in government buildings we ain't never even allowed to enter. Where your rights are written in pencil and erased when it's inconvenient. Where justice depends on your income and the law bends to the highest bidder. Welcome to America, where they tell you if you don't like it, then leave, without realizing we had ties to this land before there was even an America, where your labor is valued, but your life is disposable. Welcome to America, where mental health is a crisis, but therapy is a luxury that most can't even afford, where they sell you fast fashion, fast food, and the fast entertainment to keep you distracted from the slow theft of your soul and your spirit, where the news is scripted, the truth is filtered, and history is rewritten to protect the guilty. Welcome to America, where the people who run this country don't live like the people who keep it running. Welcome to America, where survival is success, where we've been trained to call this living, but in reality, we barely breathing. Welcome to America.
I was thinking about this. We are the richest country on the planet, one of the richest countries. Why does it look like ass? Like, really think about that for a second. Like, when you're driving, if you're not in, like, Florida or California or the coast of, like, Oregon or whatever, it's like, this place looks like shit. And we have so much money. Like, I'm thinking of, like, Europe and Japan and all the architecture, like, across the world and how beautiful it looks. Why don't we have, like, rose gold fucking buildings and, like, why does the Kmart's and, like, all of the stores look like shit? Like, I don't know. I'm just thinking in my head, I'm closing my eyes and I can imagine, like, like, look at China. Like, Shanghai, like, the coast, like, all those videos you see, that's, like, no joke, stunning, beautiful, high tech. You would think America would look like that with the amount of money that we have, but it just looks like, you know what I mean?
So guys, you heard the guy and the lady about the struggles of living in America today. So in the comment sections, tell us the job you do and the income and how you spend your salary. I know it's maybe not convenient or maybe it's not a serious thing, but maybe you are in the wrong jobs, or maybe we are not working hard enough, or I don't know, maybe we are lazy. So comment with the type of job you do and your earnings and how you spend your money. Maybe even we are spendthrift, I don't know. So give us some advice.
So it's really hard to watch these types of things because growing up here in the US, I felt that there were so many opportunities, that this was the land where people can afford the things that you want as long as you work hard for it. And I'm not saying that that's not the case nowadays, but it feels really, really out of reach for a lot of people. And it is definitely getting harder for everybody because prices are just continuing to go up everywhere, all over the board. And housing is definitely not an exception to that. And so sad that now there's even, people looking at storage units or living maybe in an office space or different things like that.
I'm about to show you $10 worth of groceries in America. Bread and eggs, $4.79 and $4.70 something or another. $10 for bread and eggs. Good job.
If the price of shit don't go down, I'm about to start stealing again. I don't give a I said I was leaving that shit in 2022, but look, if y'all gonna keep making deodorant $15 for a stick, I'm gonna just have to start sticking shit in my purse again. I don't care, because I can't go without deodorant, and y'all know y'all taxing for that shit. Like, come on now, something gotta give. Everything is just too expensive for me. Every single thing. Like, it's to the point I be rationing out for deodorant. I'm only doing 2 swipes a day because I can't afford to do 3 or 4 swipes back and forth because I'm gonna run out of deodorant too fast. Toothpaste too. And the thing is, you can find cheap shit, but it ain't gonna hold you. I'm not about to buy no cheap ass deodorant and be musty all day. And I'm not about to buy no cheap ass toilet tissue and that shit break while I'm wiping my ass, and I'm not about to buy no cheap ass toothpaste, and my breath be stinking after I done brushed my teeth. Like, y'all have to give. Like, and then it's like, if you do buy quality shit, it got poison in it, and the stuff that don't have the poison in it is too damn expensive for anybody to afford. Like, this shit is just beyond me. Like, I'm at the point, I'm either about to start stealing shit again, or I'm about to start making my own shit. Y'all, like, the economy gonna have to decide at this point.
Can we talk about inflation for a second? I went for a run, and as you know, have my best thoughts when I was running. And I was thinking about how the other day I went to Larchmont and I ordered a matcha. It was $6.25, and when they punched it in, it said $7.50. And I was like, excuse me, why does it say $7.50 when you punched it in? And she's like, oh yeah, we raised the prices, but we haven't updated the board yet. And I was like, and she said, oh, also if you want almond or oat milk, it's going to be an additional 75 cents. And I'm like, well, I will not be having that, thank you. I'm not spending $10 on a matcha, which P.S., I don't like that I drink matcha, but coffee gives me anxiety, so I had to switch. I know it's bougie. But anyway, $10, like, with the tax, with the tip, that's insane. And then I went to my local coffee shop, and the same thing happened. I ordered my matcha. It used to be $6, and now it's $7.50. I'm no mathematician, but I think that's like a 25% increase, which is absolutely bonkers. That's way above the 3% cost of living inflation increase. And then I got a book off my shelf, and it was from when I first moved to LA. There was a receipt in there. It was like my first diner breakfast, and I looked at the prices and just compared. An omelet used to be $12, now it's $15. A friend came to town, and I was looking for happy hour drinks because, you know, trying to save some money. And you know how Google Maps has like images? I saw an image of an old menu from 4 years ago. The happy hour beverages were $8. Now they're $12. Can you imagine 4 years ago thinking that $12 was a deal for a happy hour beverage? That's absolutely crazy. So like, what is happening here? Why is everything so much more expensive? Also, my health insurance is an extra $100 a month, so that's $1,200 a year. Like, everything in the last year is so much more expensive, and again, is way beyond the 3 to 6% inflation increase that we should be seeing. So what is going on? Like, how are we supposed to stay afloat?
Okay, so several things here. Absolutely, I do agree that inflation is up way more than what they are telling us, because you see it in the prices. You don't, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to be able to assess how your pocketbook feels after you go to the store or wherever you go and make purchases nowadays. The other thing, though, is that if you can't afford the extra coffee when you're out, or matcha, or any kind of goodies, just go ahead and make it at home. You're going to save so much more money if you really look at what you're spending every time you go out. This is a really easy way to start cutting back. And I know it's not fun. I know it's not always easy, and it's not convenient, especially if you're not used to it, but you save a lot of money. And I've been making food. We've been making our, any type of beverages at home for years instead of just buying them out. And occasionally, we will get a coffee out, maybe like at a gas station or just somewhere that is more affordable than like a Starbucks. But primarily things are made at home because it's just way too expensive. I remember back in the day, years ago, I would go to Starbucks and pay $3 something for a specialty drink, and I thought that was expensive then. But now you could easily get out of there with something that costs $7-8. I mean, where are we going to be at in a couple of years? And also, to the other video, there's a lady saying that if the cost of things don't go down, that she may start looking at, stealing items. And I am really a proponent of looking at other stores that are more affordable. So going to like the Dollar Tree, the Dollar General, any kind of dollar store, you will still find decent products there that are generally going to be about $1 in the price point. Now, I know they may not be your favorite products. They may not be the organic, the this, the that. I love natural products, all that stuff, but I'm also, a realist that if I can't afford it because of the times or because financially we cannot afford it, then we're not going to make those purchases, and we will have to go to stores like that. You also have the option of making some natural products as well, so that's also another route. But then sometimes it costs a little bit to get those items to be able to make some of the natural products. So if you don't already have those items, you may be paying a little bit more up front to be able to set yourself up to make some more like natural remedies. But all in all, I think going to dollar stores right now will be helpful. I do have a lot of videos about that, going to the Dollar Tree, for example, and stocking up on things that are more affordable, so you can definitely check those out. But I think that's something that a lot of people are going to need to start considering.
I want to know how people are surviving. Because if your electric bill looks anything like mine or close to it, I mean, mind you, I have a 2-family home, but it has 3 floors. My tenant does pay her own utilities. I am in charge of my floor and the basement, you can say. And this is what it came out to. It's usually like $400 You know, in the summer, it could probably be like 500 because of the central air. And I do have a pool. But this is crazy. I don't know how people are going to survive this. I live in New Jersey. I know that it's in other states also. But I live in a very, and it's not even the best town. I live in an expensive town. Rents here are astronomical. They're just insane. And being able to pay your rent and then you have to pay a bill that's this high, or even let's say in the 500s, how are people even doing it? How are people surviving? I just don't get how a governor, a mayor, anybody can really allow this to happen to your people who vote for you. Like, and I'm not even a political person at all, but this is crazy. I don't know how people are going to make it. They're going to be paying their rent and sitting in the dark, because who can afford this? I am so grateful that right now, because anything can change, we can afford to pay for this. But who's to say next month or the month after, if something happens, we can't afford that. We wouldn't be able to afford that. I don't know how people are doing it. People that have young kids, this is crazy. And they're just doing it. They're just sticking it up our asses, and we just have to figure it out. Like, we just literally have to figure it out. We've been figuring it out for many years, and it's just getting worse and worse. Something's got to give. I wouldn't even know where to even begin, because I'm not into politics. I'm just dumb as a doorknob when it comes to any of those things. But like this just like opened my eyes. My husband went yesterday to pay the bill, and it was $1,900. And he's like, where? They wouldn't give him any information because his name is not on the bill. So I looked at it this morning, and look at me. I have like hives because I just can't believe it. And I feel for people that have to pay something like this and can't really afford it, because you're not even making that much money either. Like, minimum wage is insane. I just can't. I don't know how people are going to survive this. It stresses me out. Like, it really stresses me out. At this point, all I could do is hope and pray. Really, because I really wouldn't know what to do, how to do it. Like, I don't even know what is this? Delivery? What the hell is anybody delivering? Nobody ever came to my door to deliver shit. And then you get like a little bit of a break on the first 600 kilowatts, and then it goes up after that. Like, what? No, this is insane. And you could see I didn't even really use that much from June to July. No. Let me know anybody else is like stressing. I don't even know what to do.
At the moment, if you don't have a family, I don't think that there is a need of buying a house. Yeah, if you don't have a family, why? So if you're starting to work currently, maybe it's better to rent out or stay with your parents for the moment, because buying a house is expensive right now. There are many houses coming up. Yeah, there's construction over the country. What are they building for? Because we can't afford them.
I am moving back into my parents' house at 23 years old, and let's fucking talk about it. I got this apartment about a year ago, and I had just graduated college. I graduated with a Bachelor in Arts of Psychology with a minor in Creative Writing and English. Now, I'm sorry, but a 4-year psychology degree is absolutely useless unless you go forward with it. I didn't have money nor time to go forward with it, so I wanted to get straight into the job field, and I could always go back to school. So I went and I got a sales job, a corporate sales job. And it was obviously a 9-to-5 every single day, Monday through Friday. And if anyone who works in sales knows that your first year absolutely sucks. I could not afford my own rent and my student loan payment just on the salary alone. It was around $47K, just to be fully transparent. It was $47K, sorry. And before anyone fucking says, oh, dude, you weren't working. I worked 7 days a week. I got a part-time job serving on the weekends. So I would do Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, working in Jamaica, Queens, and going door to door. Not a good area, especially when you don't know how to parallel park, because I'm from Long Island. Anyways, going there Monday through Friday, I would drive back in around 2 hours worth of traffic, and then on Saturday and Sunday, I would go and serve at a restaurant all day a double. And that still was barely getting me by. So I hated the job so much, and I was like, okay, this is like, I could make this somewhere else. I might as well find another job. I've wanted to be a teacher for a while now. I haven't been able to afford to go back to school. So I'm now a preschool teacher, right? which I work Monday through Friday, actually 8 to like 6 o'clock sometimes. It really depends on the day. Usually it's 5:30, but 6 o'clock is how it goes. I also keep that serving job on the weekends because I cannot afford to live. I cannot afford to live. I do not hang out with friends. I don't go out very often. I'm also not a drinker, so I don't go out and anything like that, right? I still cannot afford to live. I am draining my savings, which I don't want to be doing in my 20s. I'm 23 years old. I want to be building my savings at anything. So I decided to move back with my parents for a year. I was very against it because me and my parents, we get along but from a distance. But it was my last option, and the cost of living is absolutely insane despite working 7 days a week. If I even tried to get another job, it would have to be an overnight shift somewhere. That's not manageable when I have to get up as early as I do. It makes me mad when people say, oh, like, Gen Z is so lazy. I promise you I'm the least thing from lazy. I have a crippling fear of not doing enough. I actually hate not having something to do. I can't just relax and watch TV. I don't even watch TV unless my boyfriend's here. I am always cleaning. I am always doing something, or I am working. I never just sit down and relax. I think it's an anxiety thing. But at 23 years old, having a full-time job with benefits and all, I should be able to afford my living situation. Yet I can't, and I'm not the only one who has this shit. Any entry-level job is not enough money to live on. And it sucks. It sucks. I'm going back to school to get my master's, and that is why I'm moving back with my parents, because I will not be able to work 7 days a week while taking a full thing of classes. Yay, so fun.
You know what's crazy is how expensive going out has gotten, and the fact that Gen Z is like, we're just not doing it anymore. We're not doing it because I would say, at least in the city that I'm in, it costs at least $100 to $150 if you want to have a night out with your friends. The average drink where I'm at is like $20 to $25 once you put tip in there. So if you're having 4 or 5 drinks, that's well over $100. And then God forbid you're calling an Uber. God forbid you're calling an Uber there and back. I don't know how you're going to financially recover from that. And it's just crazy because the other thing I'm seeing is the pre. I have never pre'd more in my life than these past few months, and that is including when I went to university 6-7 years ago. No one is going out these days unless we're preing at someone's house. It's literally just not happening. I'm not going out unless I'm going to my friend's place, having 99% of the night there, to be honest, and then sneaking out for 1 or 2 cheeky drinks at the end of the night. And you know what the sad part is too? Nowhere is busy. That's the crazy part. It's like you go to these places that are charging $20 to $25 a drink. Every single one of my like top 10 favorite bars, favorite clubs, favorite restaurants that I've gone to in the city that I'm in the past few months has not been nearly close to jam-packed. Not what I remembered it on like a Tuesday night 5 years ago. And it's just crazy because we keep seeing all these articles about Gen Z being the most sober generation. It has nothing to do with us being good people. I ask any of my friends, we're not going out because we're in relationships. We're not going out because we're getting older. We're just not going out because we don't want to spend $500 and take out a line of credit to go out.
Yes, you heard the two ladies. We are working 8 to 6. You can't even get them in the weekends to enjoy yourself. You have to work. There are bills to be paid. So you must work. You must put in the work. You must put in the hours. You don't get time to enjoy your life when you're still young. And perhaps when you retire at an later age, you don't have energy to enjoy life. So what is the meaning of living in US right now if you can't enjoy the life you want with the money you are earning? Yes, you're working 8 to 6, working 8 to 5, 9 to 5. I'm okay with that. But the money is still not enough for me to enjoy myself, to go out with my friends, to have a family time, go to a cookout, go to a barbecue, call an Uber, go have some drinks with friends, enjoy the sweat, the work of my hands. I can't.
This is why I feel like the cost of living has never been as bad as it is right now. Because it used to be when the cost of living was high, it was for the things that you need in life. Food, gas, shelter, etc. All those things cost a lot of money. Right now, all of those things still cost a lot of money. And also, I feel like it's just expensive to just be alive. Like, I feel like my life as soon as I wake up is literally just me putting down a credit card. And it's just a tab. And life is a bartender. And it's just like, what are you going to have? And I'm just like, I'm okay. I don't really need anything today. And it's just like, oh, really? Well, if you're going to be here, you're going to need to spend money. And I'm just like, what do you mean here? I'm just in the world. And it's just like, yeah, you have to buy something now. It's even getting to the point where like, I feel like even my thoughts are getting expensive, you know? Like I could just have the thought of like, my nose is a little stuffy. And then all of a sudden, I open up my phone 10 minutes later and have 12 ads for like, oh, you have a pollen allergy and you got to buy these anti-pollen allergy pills or you're going to suffocate in your sleep. Sleep is the only place I still feel kind of safe. But even there, it's like I could have sleep problems for one night and then I wake up feeling kind of groggy and all of a sudden I'm getting targeted ads for melatonin gummies. It's like all of our necessities are still expensive, and then also just every increment of our life costs something.
Education has doubled and tripled. Housing has doubled and tripled. Food has doubled and tripled.
Yes.
Unless you owned a home or owned apartment or land or assets before 2020, before the big inflation boom, you are sitting at a huge disadvantage where you're spending 70-80% of your income on things that will just barely sustain yourself. And so with the boomers are saying, you kids, what are you doing? We need to keep things the same. They look at them and say, what are you talking about?
Yes. Yeah, for the baby boomers to buy a home, the affordability compared to today, it's like night and day.
I believe the math is in the 70s, you could work a few hours a day of minimum wage and afford a Yale tuition. Try doing that now.
Yeah, forget about it.
Yeah.
A friend of mine went to the hospital. They were having a child, he and his wife, you know. So when it was time to pay, the hospital told him that the hospital bill was that 1K, that 1 G's, the hospital bill. But he told them that he has no insurance, so he has to pay cash. They told him it's $2,100. Yeah, from that $1K to $2,100. The scam that's going on in this country, I don't know.
Question for the younger people out there. What is it like for you economically right now? Because I just want to paint a picture of what it's like 20 years ago. I'm 45, so when I was in my mid-20s, mid-2000s, here's just what it was like for me when I was starting out. I had an apartment in Chicago. It was a studio, $550 a month. It was a couple blocks from the lake, a few blocks north of Wrigley Field, if you're familiar with the north side of Chicago. Perfectly fine. And I just was working a whatever job. I was making $14 an hour, temping in an office. I rode the bus to work. Completely fine. I could live. A couple years later, I bought a car, a Hyundai that was not great, but it was fine. It had 20,000 miles on it, for $2,500, right? So I was able to just pay cash for kind of a junky car, but it ran. Now, that same apartment in Chicago, I was looking it up today, is almost triple the price. Triple. It's like $1,500. And you can't even find a car for $2,500 now. Like I was looking just like, I wonder what a used car goes for. Even a $10,000 used car is absolute trash. It has like 180,000 miles on it, 5 different owners, an accident. So it's like you literally can't do what was completely normal to do 20 years ago. I'm not talking about the baby boomer time. Like I bought a house for 5 raspberries in the 60s. I'm talking about 2005. You can't even do that. So I'm so curious what it's like for you now because it seems unsustainable. I don't know how a young person that's 20, 21 years old is expected to go out into the market and pay $1,700 for their first apartment. But it's a studio. Doesn't even have its own bedroom.
If you graduated high school or college and went into the real world between the years of 2016 and 2025, the world hates you, and I can explain to you why. The average rent for a 2-person bedroom in 2010 was $1,008. As of April of 2025, it is about $1,836 for rent. The average monthly grocery costs about $250 to $300 per person. Today, it's about $504 per person, and obviously you're probably going to go at least twice a month. You're always not going to eat at home. You might want to go out and eat sometimes. The average cost to eat out was $11.60 per person in 2010, and in 2025, it's $15 to $20 per person. Oh, but I don't want to eat out. I want to go get some McDonald's. Depending on what you get, the average McDonald's meal price in 2010 was $5. Now it's $10. Maybe you want to go on a date and see a movie tonight. Well, in 2010, it was $7.89 per person to go see a movie. In 2025, it's $11.31 per person to see a movie. And that's just without buying concessions. To go to college in 2010, it was $112,000 with everything included, on average. And on average in 2025, it was $146,000, depending on where you go and location, but this is just the national average. And hopefully after college, you can get a good job so you can pay off this money. Well, it's going to take you about the same time as it did in 2010. And I just graduated college, and it's been about this time, and I still haven't found a job yet. Because the
market sucks.
You want to know what else hasn't really changed? The minimum wage in 2010 versus today. It is still $7.25. In 2010, $100 would have been $100. And $100 today would be $139.60 in 2010, which is about an inflation increase of 39.6%. And almost everything has risen 40% due to inflation. So we're living in some good times now.
These guys have put it clearly. Why in the past 20 years, the cost of renting a house or an apartment in US has tripled? Why? Why has it tripled over the past 20 years? It can only be answered by one thing: corporate greed. Nowadays, if a company is making profits, the workers don't benefit, it's the shareholders. And the work of CEOs, the works of directors in a company is to make money for the shareholders. That's why you see even our medical insurances, it comes to the housing companies, the agricultural companies, the technological companies. The main agenda is making money for the shareholders. When they are making money, the workers don't live well. No, it's the shareholders. So it's a problem we are having in this country. We are governed by corporates.
We have no money, we have no savings, and guess what? We don't care because you cannot save any money in this economy. You barely can make money in this economy, and when you do make it, it's not yours. It's going straight to rent, straight to bills, straight to insurances, straight to everything, food. You already know that. So stop beating yourself up and saying, damn, what am I doing wrong? Because I was doing that, and I just had that epiphany. It's not me. I go to work every damn day. How can it be me if I'm working every day? It's not me. It's the system. I work 50, 60 hours a week. Stop beating yourself up. Stop feeling like you're a failure. If you need to relax one day this week, do it. I'm going to do it. Fuck it. I'm only working 5 days this week. I'm not doing 7 because I'm not getting anywhere. We're not the failures. The world is the failure. This government, this system, the billionaires, everybody's failed us. This generation has been failed. Stop letting yourself feel like you're behind. Stop allowing yourself to feel like you should be where your parents were and where the previous, fuck that.
Don't get me wrong, I love being single and I love living alone. It's great, it's fantastic, but fuck, it's expensive. I just spent $600 on brakes on my car, just on the front part of the car, because I couldn't afford all 4 brakes and axles and rotors and whatever the fuck. And then now I just paid my car payment, which is $500, so I just blew $1,100 in like 3 hours, and it wasn't even like fun, Fuck. Sorry, it's just so overwhelming. Like, you work and 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 you work, and it's just to pay off like your basic necessities. And you can't, like, in this city that I live in, public transport, please. If I were to do public transport, it's like asking to get raped, and I really shouldn't be crying because now I have to go to another work event, and now I'm gonna be all puffy. Living is so expensive. Just keeping yourself alive and floating is so expensive. And what I was saying before I was rudely interrupted is if I were to take public transport here, especially for my job requires a car. I have to have a bunch of shit that I have to lug with me for work. And I can't do that with public transport. I'm venting. Inflation sucks. Just living in America sucks. Living alone sucks. It's great, but it sucks. Because you have to front all the expenses by yourself. I need a husband just so that I can live. So we can split the bills.
If you kids can't live comfortably on $20 an hour, you have to be overspending. We got to break this down very quickly to give people perspective into the Gen Z's lives. If you make $20 an hour, that is $40,000 a year. After taxes, that is $2,750. The average one-bedroom apartment and utility is going to run you $2,000. You cannot do that making $20 an hour, so you're going to have to rent with a roommate for about $1,200, and that's being conservative. $500 a month for groceries, which is less than $150 a week. $300 for a student loan payment, which is below average. $300 for a a car payment, which is below average, $150 for car insurance, $150 for gas, $100 for personal care, $50 for a cell phone is $27.50. That is paycheck to paycheck, leaving you with nothing. Nothing for savings, investments, the big one, health insurance, because I'm assuming they're under 26 years old, and zero fun. Now, if they were to make $30 an hour, that's $60,000 a year. That's $3,900 after taxes. Maybe they decide to get their own place for $2,000 and everything else stays the same. They're left with $350 a month, which is essentially still paycheck to paycheck. This is the cost of living in America.
So guys, do you know about the lost generation of Japan, or the lost decade of Japan from 1994 to 2004? When we had this generation who could not find a steady employment in Japan, then we came to have people who cannot become social with people. Why are you going out? You have no need of going out. So people are living with their moms, people are living with their parents until they become old, with their parents. Yeah, because you can't find a steady employment. You you do contract jobs. So that is the place we are heading in US, and the government knows because they have past studies. What will happen? They know that there will be a lost generation in US. I don't know which year, but it's coming. Maybe the future generation, maybe the future after the future generation will become a lost generation, and they know. And you know the problem with a lost generations. We create a society what people who cannot interact with people who cannot make themselves something out of their lives. Yes. So we are heading in a bad place as a country. And let me tell you, if the rent has doubled in US, if the cost of getting a car in US has doubled, because currently no one is buying a car, people are hiring or renting out. So if the cost of living in US has doubled, with the salary not doubling, then we are in a crisis. So I don't know what we'll do, because our congressmen, our senators, they are all complicit in this thing. They don't care. They don't give a damn. What is the problem? Corporate greed. So in 1980s, I'm not an economist, but I'll refer to Milton Friedman, who said that the cost of living is being caused by government overspending. True. The government is spending a lot, right? The government passed a bill, I don't know, was it 4.6 trillion US dollars? 4.6 trillion dollars. We are at 350 million Americans, right? That means in every American, the government is spending 120,000 US dollars on him, right? Let's say the government was a person. So divide the total budget of the government with every person in US. The government as a person would be earning $120,000 a year. So tell me why the government is spending more than I earn in a year. Why? Why is the government spending more than I earn in a year? That is government overspending. That is what is causing inflation in this country. The government is overspending, right? Yes. So who bears the cost of government overspending? It's not Donald Trump. It's not Joe Biden. It's not the Senate. It's not the Congress. It's you and me. It's you and me who bears the cost of government overspending. Yeah, the government overspending is a problem in this country. And what is causing government overspending in this country? Imperialism. Nothing imperialism. A war breaks out in Saudi Arabia, we are there. A war breaks in Iraq, we are there. A war breaks in Taiwan, we are there. What are we doing? What are we doing? We should be caring for our people back home. Veterans, they are not getting health care. Our children are not getting meals in school. Yes. So we have a problem in this country, and unless we look in the mirror, we'll have a lost generation, and it will be not. It would be good for us.